Hello students, welcome to today's lecture. I am Dr. Chandrima Chatterjee. I am Assistant Professor of Economics at Nalsar University of Law, Hyderabad. Today we will learn about a new topic which is proportion. Now in previous 2-3 lectures we learned about ratios, that is what is ratio and how to calculate ratio, how to solve problems, numerical problems related to ratio applying different formulas. So proportions and ratios are very closely related. Actually proportion is generated from ratio itself, but there is still some new concept we should know about proportion. So let us start with the definition of proportion, or what is proportion. So suppose there are 4 quantities. In case of ratio, we used to take 2 quantities, but suppose there are 4 quantities and these quantities are represented in terms of ratios, and these 2 ratios are related in such a way that they are equal. So they will generate the equal ratio. These 4 quantities together, that is first and the second quantity. If we take ratio of first and second quantity and we make a ratio, that is a first ratio, and if we take third and fourth quantity and if we make a ratio, then this 2 ratio will be equal. If these 2 quantities are equal, then we will say that these quantities are in proportion. So that will generate proportion. So proportion is nothing but equality of 2 ratios. So when 2 ratios are equivalent to each other, or when 2 ratios are actually equal to each other in values, we call them proportion. Right? So suppose there are 2 sets of numbers and they increase or decrease maybe in the same ratio. Then we will call it that these numbers are directly proportional to each other. Since they are increasing at the same rate, or maybe they are decreasing at the same rate, so we will call it they are directly proportional to each other. For example, I will give you an example. Suppose there is a train, right, which covers 100 kilometer distance in an hour. So in 1 hour, the train can travel 100 kilometers. Now the question is how much it will take, or in 5 hours how much kilometer it will travel. If in 5 hours it can travel 500 kilometers, because here we are talking about the kilometers covered in hour, which is nothing but it is the speed per hour. We are actually calculating the speed per hour. So if a train can cover 100 kilometer distance in 1 hour and the speed is in proportion, I mean there is proportional speed, then in 5 hours it should cover 500 kilometer, right? So just you have to multiply by 5 both this hour and both the kilometers, right? Then we can call it proportion, and it can be represented as, so kilometer distance traveled by the duration will be exactly equal to distance traveled and by the number of hours. We have just scaled it up. Okay, so these 2 proportions are equal. You can see that 100 by 1 will be same, just if we take proportion of 500 by 5, because if we just simplify it, it will be same 100 by 1. So we are doing nothing, just scaling it up, that if a train can covers in 1 hour 100 kilometer, then in 5 hours simply we are just multiplying it, and 2 ratios we are getting will be same. So we can say that the train is running at a proportional speed. Okay, the speed has neither increased or not decreased. So this is proportion. So we can see from our previous discussion, it is very clear that ratio and proportions are very closely related concept. We suppose there are 4 numbers and two ratios are constituted based on the four numbers, and if they are directly proportional to each other, we can express that particular proportion by equal sign or colon, right? I will show it in this example. Suppose there are four numbers. We have four numbers 15, 20, 9 and 12. What I'll do, I will take this first two numbers and make a ratio, and then I'll take last two numbers, that is third and fourth number, and I'll make a ratio. And I will see that whether these two are equal, these two values of these simplified values, obviously you have to take simplified values, whether simplified values of these two ratios are equal or not. So if I consider first and second quantity, that is 15 is to 20, so I will just simplify it. I will divide it by greatest common divisor. Okay, the common divisor between 15 and 20 is 5. So if I divide both the numerator and denominator by 5, I am left with 3, and here I am 4. So it is 3 is to 4. So the ratio is simplified to 15 is to 20 is simplified to 3 is to 4. Same I will consider the third and fourth number, that is 9 is to 12, and 9 by 12 will be my ratio. And if I divide it by common divisor, which is 3, so if I divide both side, both numerator and denominator, both first term and second term by 3, I will left with 3 and 4. So it is the same. So can we call it proportion? Can we call this two ratio proportional? Yes, because the simplified version of this two ratio are giving me equal values. So since the ratio between first and second quantity is same as the ratio between third and fourth quantity, so we can call that all these four numbers are in proportion. So we will call it proportion, and we will denote it, or we can present this proportion by equal to sign. Right? Now proportion, how we can represent proportion, how proportion can be written? Is there only one way to write proportion just like this? No, the proportion can be written in multiple format. Like as I mentioned, that proportion is just scaling up. So suppose I have a ratio 4 by 5. Okay, and if I multiply it, that is to scale it up, multiply by 2, both first term and second term, I'll get 8 by 10. And both this 4 by 5 will be equal to 8 by 10. Because both this proportion, if I simplify it, will give me same ratio. Right? So it is just same, you can divide it also. So it is just scaling. Proportion is generally used to scale up or scale down some ratios, okay, based on their relative sizes, right? So suppose there are four terms, okay, A, B, C, D, and A, B constitute a first ratio, and C and D constitute second ratio, and if they are equal, just like previous case, then we will call it A, B, C, D are in proportion. And it can be represented in another way, which is nothing but we can write it, because we know that A is to B, we can write it A is to B as A by B. Same we can write C is to D as C by D. So if this is the format, and if these two are equal, then you can write A by B is equal to C by D. Now there is a cross multiplication formula. Okay, so first we need to know the name of all these terms. So first, now we are, so far I am calling it by first term, second term, third term, fourth term, but there are specific names of all these terms, first term, second terms, right? What are the names? So last two terms, so first term and the last term, that is the terms which are exactly at the end, first and fourth, are called extremes. And the middle two term, like A and D, are at two extremes, right? A is the first term and D is the last term. So these are at two extremes. So these two terms are called extremes. And since B and C are in middle, so they are called means. So middle two terms, that is second term and third term, will be called means. So first term and fourth term will be called extreme since they are at extreme ends, and since middle two terms, second term and third term, are in middle, so they are called means. Now there is a cross multiplication rule which we should know, right? The cross multiplication rule is actually generated from this part, that if we can write proportion in this way, that is A is to B equal to C is to D, that is A by B equal to C by D, then their cross multiplication will also be equal. That means if we multiply to extreme, that is A into B, we are just cross multiplying it. A with D or D with A, we are cross multiplying it. Same it will be equal to if we multiply B into C. So just the cross multiplication. A into D, we are multiplying this cross terms, that is two extremes. We are multiplying A into D. It will generate, by formula, it will generate the same result if we multiply this two mean term, which is B into C, right? So that is called cross multiplication formula. There is another concept which is, so this is the cross multiplication formula. We will use it while solving numericals on proportion. There is another theoretical concept which is called continued proportion. We also solved a numerical in previous lecture where the ratios of three fruits are given and we are supposed to find out the continued proportion of three fruits, right? So when three quantities are said to be in continued proportion and the ratio between the first two and the second quantity is equal to the ratio between second and third, so there will be a common term, right? So when there is a common term between them, and if it is like this, that there are three terms A, B and C, and A is to B equal to B is to C, where B is the common term in both the ratio, then we can write it as the second quantities are called, so this second quantities are called mean proportion between the first and the third, that is A is to B, in A is to B equal to B is to C, B is the mean proportion because B is the common term, okay, or it is called the mean proportional, right? So it is called the mean proportional. Now we will solve two very basic numericals on proportion. So the first problem is, it says that a recipe calls for 4 cups of flour to make 12 cookies. How much flour is needed to make 30 cookies? See, here we are actually trying to scale up the production of cookies or making cookies. So earlier I have made 12 cookies. Now for some reason I need to increase the number of production of cookies, and now I want to produce 30 cookies. I want to make 30 cookies. So how much flour is needed, provided that the same ratio will be used, the ratio will not change, right? So here we know, first we have to simplify. One ratio is given, which is flour by cookies. The ratio is 4 by 12. So for making 12 cookies, we need flour of 4 units. Okay, 12 units of cookie require 4 units. So the ratio is 4:12. And if we simplify it, we can simplify it by dividing common divisor, which is here 4. The greatest common divisor is 4. So 4, if you divide by 4, so 4 by 4, 1, and 12 by 4 is 3. So my simplified ratio of flour and cookie is 1 by 3. Now I have to scale it up to 30 cookies. I have to increase the production to 30 cookies, and I need to know how much flour is, what are the amount of cups needed to produce 30 cookies. So in this case, I will write flour by cookies is 1/3 is my ratio. Okay, for making 3 cookies I need, this is the simplified version. It was not simplified version. Okay, this is the simplified version. That is, for making 3 cookies I need 1 cup of flour. So 1 cup of flour can make 3 cookies. And if we just want to scale it up, maintaining the same ratio, we assume that there is same ratio. So I don't know how much, what is the number of cups of flour required, but I need 30 cookies. So this extreme term is known. The second term or consequent is known for this second ratio, but the first term or antecedent is not known. Okay, so what we can do? So we have to find this term. Simplest form of doing this, of finding out of this second the first term of the second ratio, is that we are just scaling it up, as I mentioned. So you have to see by which number you have to multiply 3 so that you can get 30. Okay, so that is the scaling factor. Okay, so you are just increasing your production, and in multiple of something you are producing multiple of this ratio. Okay, so by which number you have to multiply 3 so that you can get 30. It is very easy. If you multiply 3 by 10, you will get 30. Now you cannot multiply, since it is a ratio, so ratio always have to increase in the same, you have to multiply the first term also by the same number or the same quantity to maintain the ratio. Otherwise your ratio will be different. Okay, your ratio will change, but here you don't want to change the ratio. The ratio of cups of flour and cookies will be same. So you don't want to change the ratio. So 1 into 10 by, so since you are multiplying it in the second, you are multiplying the second term by 10, you have to multiply the first term also 10. And if you multiply it, so 1 into 10 will give you 10. So now you got your answer, that 10 cups of flour is needed to make 30 cookies, right? So this is how you can find out, you can scale up and you can find out the proportion. So these two ratios are equal and we can call it in proportion, right? Second numerical is also same. A population of town increases in the ratio 5:7. So there are two terms actually, initial population and population after 10 years. So my initial population by population after 10 years. Initial means at the beginning. So at the beginning my population was something, and now after 10 years obviously population will increase. So the ratio is given first, that is 5:7. And if the assumption is that it grows proportionally, so it should be equal to the ratio, to a different ratio where initial population is given. So my initial population was 25,000. I have to find out if population after 10 years population increases in the same ratio or same proportion, what will be my new population after 10 years. Okay, so the same formula, same logic we will apply. We will just scaling it up. Okay, so here it is, the portion is 5, but actual population is 25,000. In terms of ratio it is 5, but actual population is 25,000. So by which number you have to multiply, you have to scale up this particular ratio so that you will get 25,000. Okay, so from observation, or even if you can divide 25,000. So if you can divide, sorry. So if you can divide 25,000 by 5, so you will get the multiplicative factor. We want to know the multiplicative factor. So 5 into 5, 25, and all the zeros will be here. So 5,000. So the multiplicative factor, so that you will get, if you scale it up, you will get 25,000 is 5,000 is your multiplicative factor. So if you write here 5,000, if you multiply 5, that is the first term or antecedent, by 5,000, then you will get the desired initial population. Now you cannot alone multiply the first term by 5,000 to maintain the ratio. To keep the ratio intact, you have to multiply the second term also by 5,000. And if you multiply the second term by 5,000, you will get the population, because this is the proportion, this is the ratio given. So you will get the ratio as anyway, so you will get the ratio as 7 into 5,000, which is nothing but 35,000. 5 into 7, 35, and rest all the zeros will be written as it is. Okay, so population, so given this ratio and scaling it up, so you have to find out the multiplicative factor here. By which number you have to multiply this first term or second term of the ratio, so that you can get the desired amount, right? Once you will get this multiplicative term, you can multiply the same term with the second one, and you will get your final desired population after 10 years. So in this way, proportion helps us. So basic assumption of proportion, the basic assumptions here is that these two ratios must be equal. If you simplify it, you will get a same value, right? So that is called proportion. When two ratios are in same, when two ratios are equal, actually the simplified version of two ratios are equal, we call it proportion. And using this proportion concept of proportion, we can solve this kind of problem. We will solve more complicated numericals, where again there will be textual information and you have to apply rules of both ratio and proportion in the next video. So I hope you understood all these concepts, and you will learn it and you will practice it, and we will apply it in the solving numericals in the next video. Thank you very much.